Joshi. She teaches at the Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. Dr. Joshi, welcome to DD India News Hub. Now, I have 4 or 5 fundamental issues to ask of you, which might interest our viewers as well. To begin with, could you, in a nutshell, talk to our viewers about the Kachativu Island, its history and significance?
Definitely, Ramesh. And when we understand its strategic location and its history, then we can realize that why our Honorable Prime Minister has come up with all the statements since yesterday, and why our External Affairs Minister is coming up on this particular issue. This island named Kacha Thivu, which is now a part of Sri Lanka, always belonged to India. It was a part of India. And it was associated with the Rameshwaram, Ramanathapuram of Rameshwaram in ancient times. And then during the British rule in India, it was a part of Madras Residency. And it was a very much part of India. It was a territory of India till India got independence in 1947. At that point in time, Ramesh, Sri Lanka was Ceylon. And since that time, when you look on map, this situation, the location of Kachativu Dweep or island, it's very strategically located. So from strategic point of view, from trades point of view, and from tourism's point of view, it's a significant location. So Ceylon actually always had an eye on this particular island. And since then, it requested India to hand over this particular island to Ceylon. That time Ceylon, today's Sri Lanka. But it was a part of India. And then that time's Prime Minister Nehru made a statement in 1961 that it's a very small island and he doesn't care about this island. So this kind of a statement gave an indication to Sri Lanka to put its claim on this particular island. And then whatever happened, there was a step-by-step procedure through which later on we can see that how in 1974 that time's Indira Gandhi government callously gave away this part of India to Sri Lanka without any formal, I would say, process or anything or any reason. It was given away. It was palmed off, I would say, to Sri Lanka. And that time's DMK government was very much into, was in hand in gloves with the Indira Gandhi government.
Dr. Joshi, as Minister Jaishankar said this morning, it is a live issue. It did not suddenly come up. So to my mind, it is as much political as it is diplomatic. But I want to ask you about the problems being faced by the Indian fisher folk in particular and their rights. How does one resolve this issue?
See, ownership of this island, first and foremost, Ramesh, was always a bone of contention between India and Sri Lanka. Then in 1974, that time's Indira Gandhi government gave away this island to Sri Lanka. And then later, as per the agreement that was done, this agreement or the legality of this transfer and the agreement was challenged in the Indian Supreme Court.
Okay.
As this agreement was not ratified by Indian Parliament or processes were not followed properly. And that is why, to the answer of the RTI that was raised recently, we could get to know this particular fact that illegally this island was given to Sri Lanka. And as per the agreement which was in place between both the nations, this island was given, but it was associated with the livelihood of Tamil fishermen.
Okay.
And they were allowed to dry their nets on the island, and some fishermen were allowed to fish around the this particular island, but not on this island. This is something we need to understand. So that is why because of this particular clause in the agreement, it always remained a bone of contention between both the nations. And because of this, our Indian Navy also faced a lot of difficulties because when we look at this location of the island, I said it is strategically very important. And we were not allowed to deploy. Obviously, we had given away the island to Sri Lanka, our forces over there. And for that matter, our fishermen were also not allowed on the island, but they were allowed around the island. So that is why they have faced a lot of issues because of this particular clause. And that is what our External Affairs Minister has stated, that it is not something that has surfaced over the night. It's a live issue and it needs to be resolved.
Dr. Joshi, another question that's agitating many a mind as we speak is the following. Does the government of India want to wrest or reclaim Kachativu from Sri Lanka? If so, can it do so and how? Or is there another solution that will address all or some of India's concerns?
First and foremost, the island was given. Indians, from Indian point of view, we believe and we have seen that there was nothing, in process, and it was given away. So when we look at this particular angle, Ramesh, we can claim the island, but we would need to follow a process because there was an agreement in place as per the that time's Congress government.
Okay.
It was not ratified or it was not recognized in the parliament is a different issue. But now, as per the agreement, whatever the clauses are there, as per the agreement, Indian government may speak with the Sri Lankan government and considering the strategic location, significance of this particular island, and then what we see from Chinese point of view, that how China tries to, spy around India from Sri Lankan territories. Also, this island holds a great strategic significance. So, Indian government may initiate formal talks with the Sri Lankan government, and definitely we would need to follow the legal process. We can definitely reclaim the island because it was a part of, historically, it was a territory of India.
Right. And Dr. Joshi, before we close, I have another question to ask of you. How has the Kachativu Island issue affected India's ties with Sri Lanka over the decades? Could it hurt the bilateral ties if it's not properly handled?
If it would not be properly handled now at this particular juncture, considering the current geostrategic situations, especially bringing in the Chinese angle, Ramesh, it could definitely hurt the bilateral relations between India and Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka should never forget that India has always proved itself as a trusted partner, as a trusted friend, as a trusted neighbor to Sri Lanka. So I think that considering the present scenario around, Sri Lankan government should also understand that why this island holds a great significance for India, and considering the other key lines related to its significance, Sri Lankan government should also understand the issues related to this island and should cooperate with Indian government.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Dr. Anshu Joshi, thank you once again for joining us and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you.